Clarence Thomas, our black Supreme Court justice, who's married to a white woman, he became a U.S. Supreme Court justice only because of the Rodney King riots, Baba David. Let us be clear about something. Let us be very clear. You've had 3 black Supreme Court justices, Thurgood Marshall, Clarence Thomas, and now Ketanji Brown Jackson.
Yes.
Well, guess what? All 3 of them went into office basically because of police brutality. Thurgood Marshall was sworn in as a conciliation prize to black America as a result of the 1967 riots. You had over 100 race riots across America's cities in 67. Detroit and Newark, New Jersey were the worst, or should I say the best, the most revolutionary. In order to placate blacks, to try to get us to calm down so we wouldn't destroy this country, they gave us Thurgood Marshall. Thurgood Marshall would have never been nominated had the Newark, New Jersey, and Detroit riots not have progressed to the level that they did. Now let's move to Clarence Thomas. Same thing. Clarence Thomas got nominated in the aftermath of the Rodney King riot. Once again, let's throw black people a bone so they stop tearing up the city.
George
and now
Floyd.
Ketanji Brown Jackson. Same thing. Ketanji Brown Jackson was nominated as a conciliation prize because of what?
George
All
Floyd.
the police murders that are still going on in this country. In other words, Baba David, what Joe Biden and the Congressional Black Caucus said basically was, we're not going to pass the George Floyd police reform bill. We're not going to hold police accountable for killing black people because it's too much a part of American society. We cannot tell police they're going to get in trouble for killing black people because we need them to kill black people and we want them to kill black people. So how can we distract black people away from the George Floyd police reform bill? You know what? Give them another Supreme Court justice married to a white person. And that's exactly what they did. Clarence Thomas got a white wife. Ketanji Brown Jackson got a white husband. Okay. Kamala Harris got a white husband. You see? So it was the only reason why you had those 3 black U.S. Supreme Court judges was because of police brutality and black revolt. Without the black revolt, you don't get no black Supreme Court justice.
Wow. So they're good at giving us a symbolism, but not good at giving us substance.
Symbols over substance. But guess what, Baba David? We have to bear some of that responsibility because when you look at our history, we celebrate the symbols more than we celebrate the substance. We are easily fooled by empty symbols. Think about it. Juneteenth holiday that Joe Biden signed into law last year. We celebrated that. For what? Now you got white people planning Juneteenth celebrations that are all white.
Yeah, soul food to this.
Yes, it's ridiculous. You know, the school desegregation celebrated that, and no school had desegregated. We were celebrating school desegregation in 54, and you didn't even see the schools desegregate till 74 when special ed came out.
So, yeah, what took us so long?
Even now with Ketanji, you got black people celebrating Ketanji. They throwing Ketanji parties. And we finally got a black woman on the Supreme Court. And what is that going to matter towards the greater good of black people? Do you realize, Baba David, she has already stated publicly that she's going to recuse herself of most of the race-based decisions that the Supreme Court has to hand down? What good are you on the Supreme Court if you're going to recuse yourself of issues involving race? Now, I don't think she's going to recuse herself of every single case involving race, but so far, most of the upcoming cases, and I understand when it comes to Harvard, she went to Harvard. There's a case coming before the Supreme Court soon about Harvard and racial quotas and reverse racism that the Asians are pushing, you know, part of the Asian agenda to replace black people. I can understand some of that because she went to Harvard, so understandably she can't sit on that. But then there's other cases that are coming up that she's considering recusing herself from. So she wants to make sure she don't get branded a black Supreme Court justice.
Man, them other justices don't recuse themselves
for nothing, including Clarence Thomas, who got in there on black people and turned his back on black people.
And what his wife is doing, he should recuse himself from anything that has to do with her, but he ain't recusing nothing.
He ain't going to do it. He ain't going to do it.
How are we, as people, black people in the United States, viewed by international communities outside of the United States?
I don't think that it is a homogenous opinion that is held by us, by Africans around the world. It differs. It not only differs by nation, it differs by community, it differs by individual. You know, I've been to South Africa, Nigeria, Senegal, Togo, Benin, Gambia, Ethiopia, Malawi, Lesotho. I mean, I've been all over the place, and one brother might not see himself as kith and kin with the American African. Mm-hmm. Brother right next to him might be a Pan-African and see us all as one. You know, when I'm in Jamaica or Bermuda or Bahamas or Cuba or Turks and Caicos or St. Martin and St. Croix and St. Thomas, I've been to all these places, and it's the same thing. One person may not feel they have anything in common with Africans in America, and the next person will. You know, I always tell people that you have to find folks of like mind. Mm-hmm. You know, when I'm traveling the world, I gravitate to the Pan-Africanists, and they gravitate towards me. So I tend not to be around people who don't want to see us unite as one race family. I tend not to be around those kind of people, whether they're here in America or whether they're in another country abroad. My vibration is a vibration that echoes the sentiment of those who want to see our African people united on a level that supersedes our religious differences, that supersedes our linguistic differences, that supersedes our national origins, that supersedes whatever professional or fraternal obligations that we may have. And, you know, quite frankly, Pan-Africanism flies in the face of the consciousness of petty differences that has black people bogged down all over the world. Wherever you go, we are at each other's throat over petty differences. And it was the Honorable Marcus Garvey who said that we were cursed with those petty differences. If we don't have a reason to fight, we will make up a reason to fight. We can't even agree on a cup of coffee. We can't even agree on a cup of tea. We can't agree where to have a meeting. We can't agree on nothing because black people love to be argumentative with other black people. So when we stand under the red, black, and green flag as revolutionary Pan-African nationalists, we say, if you want to work for us, you have to be about the complete and unquestioned unification of all African people across the globe. Anything short of that is not Pan-Africanism.
So I was asking in that connotation as well, not just the unfortunately what we suffer from as a people, but other people, other cultures outside of our own, outside of African peoples. How are they viewing us as black people in the United States? If I'm saying what I'm saying accurately, if I'm communicating as well.
Okay, I got you. To that, I would say that they embrace the culture, they embrace the arts, they embrace the talent, but they don't embrace African life. As I always say, everybody wants to be black until it's time to protest police brutality. Everybody wants to participate in black culture until it's time for us to fight for our humanity. Everybody wants to be black until it's time to talk about the discrimination and the bias and the inequity and the racism that we suffer from. If you look at some of the greatest exploiters of black culture, the DJ Vlads on YouTube, the Eminem, the DJ Khaleds, the Macklemores, the music executives in New York City, you have never seen them really do anything significant on behalf of African people's struggle. But these are people who have made billions of dollars off of our culture and off of our art. And it's the same thing around the world. Yes, they will embrace your talent and embrace your art. But unfortunately, black people make a very bad decision of thinking that just because somebody appreciates your art, they value your life. And nothing could be further from the truth. They will go to your concert and watch you sing and dance. They will go to your basketball game and watch you slam dunk and win the basketball games. But the minute you get accused of doing something wrong to some white girl, they will turn on you in a second, even without no proof against you.
Look at what they did to Mike Tyson, the court player. He's supposed to like Mike Tyson, but he kept harassing him.
Absolutely.
You know, because he didn't have no respect for his manhood.
At the end of the day, you're still black at the end of the day.
That's right.
No matter how much money you got, no matter how much wealth you got. I mean, look at Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson made more money for the white power structure than any black person in world history. Let me say that again. Michael Jackson made more money for the white power structure than any athlete, any entertainer, any singer, any businessman. Nobody made the white power structure more money than Michael Jackson, and they still murdered him. They still murdered him in the final analysis. Look at what Kobe Bryant did for the NBA and for professional sports and for the American brand. They still murdered him. Why? Because he wanted to start his own sneaker company. And he wanted to start his own professional basketball association. That's why Kobe Bryant's plane crashed. Look at Prince. He made a lot of money for the white power structure, but they still murdered him the minute he didn't want to play ball. So we got to understand, no matter how privileged you are, you're still black. And one of the things that they do very effectively to members of our community is they are masters at getting us to drop our psychological guard and our psychological defenses and our psychological racial consciousness. White people have a way of making black people think they forgot you're black. They have a way of making black people feel that you're different than other black people. They are masters of technology and deception. And unfortunately, after 400 years, we are still falling victim to the treachery and the trickery of the white power structure.
It seems like as soon as we recognize the trick, as soon as we recognize the game, then they change the rules, come up with some new tricks.
Absolutely.